Welcome back to The Explainer. So, you're gearing up for your very first international flight. You're probably feeling this massive mix of excitement and, let's be real, a pretty fair bit of anxiety too. And hey, that is completely normal. Taking to the skies for the first time is this thrilling bucket list experience everyone should have. But the airport itself, yeah, it can absolutely feel like a chaotic maze of unwritten rules, endless queues, and hidden traps. That's exactly why we're here today. We are going to conquer that airport maze together, walking through the top 10 mistakes first-time flyers make so you can step onto your flight with absolute confidence.
Here is our flight plan for today. We'll be covering 5 crucial steps: smart pre-flight preparation, avoiding airport money traps, navigating terminal temptations, managing food, drinks, and comfort, and finally, boarding successfully. Let's just dive right in.
Section 1. Smart Pre-Flight Preparation. Setting up for success.
Look, it's incredibly tempting to dress up to the nines for your first flight, right? Maybe throw on some highly fashionable, but somewhat tight clothes for those airport photos. But the reality of airport security and then sitting for long hours in a cabin, well, it tells a very different story. You'll definitely be required to remove items like your belt at security checkpoints, so you really need an outfit that makes this super easy. You want to prevent yourself from fumbling around and feeling awkward in front of a massive queue of impatient travelers. The key here is choosing lightweight, comfortable clothing that still upholds your dignity and represents your country's image positively, absolutely, without sacrificing your personal comfort.
Continuing our prep, let's talk about your devices. While most modern airports have charging stations everywhere, relying on them at the very last minute is a classic trap. Seriously, what is the ultimate nightmare scenario? Plugging your phone into a terminal wall, getting totally distracted by a boarding announcement, and just leaving it behind. Forgetting your primary device at the terminal will literally ruin your trip before it even begins. So do yourself a huge favor. Ensure your phone has enough battery for the entire journey right from the comfort of your living room.
Moving on to Section 2. Avoiding airport money traps. Secure your currency.
Almost as soon as you enter the airport, you're going to see it, the big currency exchange rush. It is never, ever a good idea to wait until the absolute last minute to get your foreign cash. These counters are notoriously busy, mostly because locals and foreigners alike are trying to exchange money at the exact same time. And here's a huge trap so many people fall into: pre-booking. Even if you placed a reservation for funds, that really just means the bank set the cash aside for you. It does not mean you get to skip the line. You still have to wait for the teller in the exact same queue as everyone else, which can cause severe, completely unnecessary delays right when you should be heading to your gate.
And beyond those long lines, there's another major risk to last-minute exchanges, and that's availability. While you might easily find highly circulated currencies, think US dollars or euros, at the airport, relying on those same counters for things like Japanese yen, New Zealand dollars, or various Middle Eastern currencies is a massive gamble. These frequently run out, or they simply aren't even stocked at smaller airport locations. Please do not wait until the final hour, only to discover the airport bank literally cannot give you the money you need for your destination.
Plus, convenience always comes at a cost, right? Taking Sri Lankan banks as a prime example from our source data, you are typically going to see standard commission rates of about 1 to 2% taken right off the top of your exchange. However, a really great pro tip for your travels is to check the policies of the foreign airports you're actually visiting. Some international money exchange centers will waive the return exchange commission entirely if you convert your leftover foreign currency back with them on your way home. So, it always pays to be informed and, honestly, to secure your money well before boarding day.
Section 3. Navigating Terminal Temptations. The waiting game.
First up in the terminal is a major temptation for all of us: free Wi-Fi. Every single airport offers it, and while it's incredibly tempting to just immediately connect the second you sit down, is it actually safe? Well, the blunt answer is you need to be extremely cautious. Public airport Wi-Fi networks are notorious hunting grounds for hackers. Over recent years, there have been numerous instances of cybercriminals using these unsecured, wide-open networks to access personal data from unsuspecting travelers. Use extreme caution with your digital security. Whatever you do, avoid logging into sensitive banking apps or entering any passwords on an open airport network. Once you're safely offline, those bright duty-free shops are going to try to reel you in. Our source gives some fantastic advice here. Do not buy things just to follow the trend. It is so common for first-time flyers to succumb to the bandwagon effect. You might look around, see everyone sporting those bulky neck pillows, and rush over to buy one yourself. But listen, if you've never used one before, trying it for the very first time on a long flight might actually just leave you with a terrible neck ache. Skip the whole airport aesthetic impulse purchases and just save your money for the actual destination.
This whole idea of avoiding unfamiliar things, that applies to broader terminal etiquette too. First off, keep your carry-on shopping light. You really don't want to haul heavy bags around from gate to gate. Next, and this is a big one, avoid applying strong, heavy perfumes at those duty-free cosmetic counters. Remember, you're about to sit in a cramped, pressurized metal tube with extremely limited airflow. A heavy scent that smells amazing to you could trigger a severe allergic reaction or a migraine in your seatmate, which forces some really embarrassing seat changes. Finally, skip the airport spa if you've never used one. Getting a first-time massage or weird treatment right before a flight is super risky. Your body might react poorly, leaving you with unexpected nausea, a headache, or even an allergic reaction just as you're about to take off.
Okay, Section 4, Food, Drinks, and Comfort. Eating at 30,000 feet.
Especially when you're hanging out in a foreign transit hub, the local airport restaurants can look incredibly appetizing. But here is the golden rule. Avoid unfamiliar food experiments during layovers. Seriously, stick to what your body knows. Just imagine the sheer absolute discomfort of getting a severe gripping stomachache mid-flight. You're trapped in a tiny airplane seat, miles in the sky, all because you decided to try a highly exotic, untested, and overly spicy dish during your connection. It is simply not worth the risk. Eat the foods you know your stomach can easily process.
Now, there are two more things you need to strictly avoid both before and during your flight: alcohol and caffeinated beverages. Whether it's at an airport lounge or offered by the flight attendants on board, you should politely decline. See, cabin air pressure dynamically changes the exact way alcohol and caffeine react in your bloodstream. Drinks hit you so much harder and faster at altitude, which leads to extreme dehydration, bad jitters, and severe discomfort. For your first flight, do your body a favor and just stick to water.
And finally, Section 5, Boarding the Flight Successfully. The final countdown.
There is a very strict timeline you absolutely must respect for boarding. Airlines generally begin boarding passengers a full hour before departure. And keep in mind, in many major airports, you don't just walk through a little tunnel to the plane. You might have to scan your pass and then board a packed coach bus that drives you all the way across the tarmac to the aircraft, which takes a lot of time. Because of this whole process, gates close completely 20 minutes before departure. Being early is absolutely non-negotiable.
While you're waiting around during that hour, always keep one ear open to the terminal announcements. The boarding gate printed on that pass you received at check-in, it is not set in stone. Depending on airport traffic and logistics, your gate can change at a moment's notice. If you're completely zoned out with noise-canceling headphones, or maybe waiting at the wrong gate out of sheer unfamiliarity, your flight might just leave without you. You've got to pay attention, regularly confirm your gate on the digital screens, and listen for your name.
So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. Will your first flight be a stressful maze of mistakes, or will preparation be your ultimate luxury? By avoiding these 10 common pitfalls, from sorting your currency early and dressing smartly, to skipping the pre-flight heavy perfumes and spicy food experiments, you take total control of your journey. Preparation brings incredible peace of mind. You are now empowered, informed, and perfectly equipped to conquer the skies. Safe travels, enjoy that incredible first flight, and we will see you on the next explainer.